This is the organization that's helping to eradicate polio from the face of the earth, Rotary International. Let's go inside and find out how they are doing this. Rotary has over 1.4 million members. Now, polio has been a huge issue all around the world, and it's tough to eradicate this virus that has been so prevalent for most of the 1900s. But members like this woman from Pakistan is helping spread the word in order to prevent polio from spreading any further. But what is Rotary? Well, it started in 1905 when Paul Harris and his three friends met up at room 711 at the Unity building of Chicago. At first, it was a place to make business connections. However, throughout the years, clubs started opening up all throughout the nation and then later the world. And then they started taking on huge humanitarian efforts. So right here are all the flags that Rotary International is involved in, all the countries and regions. Wow. So 1985 is when Polio Plus started in Rotary. And we can see them applying droplets as part of the vaccination program. One of the crucial parts to eradicating polio is providing clean water, because contaminated water is one of the primary ways polio is spread. The dropper vaccine had to be kept really, really cool, especially in warmer climates around the world. And these are one of the many coolers that were used in order to transport the vaccine. And we can see the droppers right over here. And here we have a very important document between the Philippines and Rotary in support of a polio vaccination campaign in 1979. That campaign was one of the catalyst moments that would lead to Rotary committing to eradicating polio not just in the Philippines, but around the world. 2014, polio was eradicated from all of Southeast Asia. Then we ventured into the city in order to visit the Chicago Center for Photojournalism, where there is a very interesting exhibition called Chasing Polio. These are photos by Jean-Marc Gibault, who actually went to areas like Delhi, India, to Pakistan, to Afghanistan, to see the effects of polio today, such as these young boys going through a rehabilitation of their legs in order to prevent further bending. In order to keep track of all the kids having their polio drops, they get their pinkies colored up, and this is very helpful as they're going from town to town, from village to village. It shows the challenges of trying to stop polio in certain regions of the world. For example, the civil conflict that happened in Sierra Leone. Many people had to be airlifted out, including the photographer himself. Usually this is invisible to us here in America because polio luckily is eradicated in this region of the world. But people are still being affected to this day. Luckily, it's less and less every year. But these photos here is a way to see it. And our last stop is the International Museum of Surgical Science, where there's a very important relic from the previous polio epidemic. This is the terrifying device that many Americans use as polio ravaged America. This is the iron lung, which is a perfect pressurized seal that will assist patients in breathing, because polio would often debilitate respiratory muscles. And hence, many people were relegated to be inside of these. Their head would be sticking out right over here. And these windows were made by Dr. Emerson, the inventor of this version of the iron lung, in order to provide a line of sight inside to see if everything is working well. The original iron lung were developed by Robert Shaw and Philip Drinker all the way back in 1928. And one of the original uses for the iron lung were for coal miners. But then as infantile paralysis took over the nation, this ended up being the main way that many people could breathe. So this would be a common sight back in the day, and especially a lot of children would be inside here. And right here are the leg braces that were used for many kids in order to prevent their legs from bending, in order to prevent their spine from curving, for people to live somewhat a normal life. Visit endpolio.org in order to learn more about the global fight to eradicate polio. It's truly inspiring to see what Rotary is doing. Stay healthy, my friends.